Okay, hey y'all, hopping straight into the video. I'm going to use the NYX brow glue to lay her brow hairs down. I'm going to do this until they get dry, like, and slick, so you'll be able to feel that they're crisp on her skin. They should look like this, and that's the side that does not have much glue on it and it's not laid down. So I kind of take the brush and I literally like scrape it, like you can see the product coming off, but that's the motion or the technique you need to have in order to lay the hair down. And you want to do that until it gets dry, so take your time, because with clients with thick eyebrows, you want to kind of use their brows more so than product, because you don't want it to look thick and blocky. You want it to look like hair, light and feathery. I'm using the MAC brow gel. It's in brown, a brown color, and I'm gonna take a spoolie brush, like the spoolie and the brush ending one, and I'm going to mimic some of the hairs that she has that aren't filled in. So technically I'm filling the brows in, but I'm only using hair-like strokes so that it mimics her hair, her brows. And also, this is the technique that I use. So I take the napkin and I press the brush down to make the brush as thin as possible. This is the best way you're going to get those hair-like strokes, because although those brushes are meant to be thin, they're not really that thin. So I want it to be like sharp, pencil sharp thin. So that's the technique that I use. Once I was done, I grabbed my MAC concealer in NC45. This is the pump. I like to use a pump because it's not cross-contaminating or anything. I just put it on that little plastic thing I have and go straight from that to the client's face. I'm using a flat concealer brush to carve the eyebrows out. You want to take your time on here. It's kind of sped up right now, but you want to take your time on this because you want those brows to be, when I tell you crispy, you want it to be crispy, baby. So take your time, because the brows are the most important part of the face besides the nose. So you want to make sure that looks very, very, very good. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So remember that if you go too deep into the arch on one side, go ahead and hit that other side. Don't neglect it. And then I also, some people use a darker concealer at the top, but I used to do that, but I don't, because I use the foundation and I clean it up really good. So it just depends on what you like what you like to do for your clients. But yeah, so I'm blending it out right now with a nice fluffy brush. You want to make sure that's blended as good as you want it, because you know there's no rules to makeup. I'm not going to tell you it needs to be blended like this, no. But what I am going to tell y'all, with this eyeshadow base, it has to be blended like that, because you want your eyeshadow to be bomb. But I'm not on that part yet, so let me hush. This is the part I was talking about. So I'm taking the P. Louise base in 0. It's really white. That's why it wasn't showing on the camera. But this is in shade 0, I believe. It's like, it's white. Just look for a white base. But so I take that. You don't need a lot. Take a dime size amount. You don't need a lot. And you put it on the eyelids. And make sure you go back and blend the top of the brows to just make sure everything is blended together. If you need to brush the eyebrow hairs, go ahead and brush the eyebrow hairs. Just make sure everything is blended. Take that same brush that you use with the concealer. Kind of blend the front part of the brows out, because you want that to look like how our natural brows go. So it's like ombre. You don't have, well, some people with more full eyebrows, they may have, like, it may be full and blocky right there, but for the most part it's sparse into a dense brow at the end. But I don't have a tail at the end, so it really just depends on how you want it. But yeah, so right here is how I'm showing y'all how the P. Louise eyeshadow base should look. It should be smooth and not patchy like this other side. So if your eyeshadow is patchy, this is why. I don't need y'all saying the P. Louise base don't work, the base don't work. It work. You not using it right. That's what it is. You're not using it right. It should be smooth and buttery like this. Do y'all see how smooth and buttery that is? It should blend with the concealer and the base. You see how seamless that is? You see the white base. You see her little concealer, the brown. It's all smooth. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's how your eyeshadow will come out perfect. Okay? Okay. Now, I'm using the Beats by Deb Color for Days palette for this. And I'm doing a, as y'all probably saw from the cover photo, the photo at the beginning of the video. I can't say it right now. It's gonna come. But I'm making it's like a sunny summer look. So yellows to oranges all the way to reds, because I feel like this is the perfect summer look, like a sunset eye look. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, take that yellow, pack it on. You want to use the way that you blend this is the way the brushes need to be. So if you're going in with a lighter shade to a darker shade, you want to use a smaller brush to a bigger brush, if that makes sense. So I'm using a bullet brush for this yellow eyeshadow. So the bullet brush packs the color on. Yellow is already a hard color to make, and it's a hard color to transfer onto different skin tones. So you want to use a brush that's going to hold that product and place it and pack it, because you see how it's packed. You can tell that's yellow. Obviously it's not too pale, it's just right. So next you're gonna do the same thing with the other shades, like a darker yellow shade into a orange shade, like stuff like that. And the reason why you want to use a big brush towards the end is because you want it to be the most dispersed, right? Because if I use the smaller brush, I want it to pack it on. You don't want to pack on the dark color like that, because it's already dark. It's already a very well pigmented color. So you want to use a diffusing brush to pack that on, if I must say. We'll see. You'll see toward the end what I'm talking about, because it's gonna disperse it and make it not look so patchy and packed on. It'll just look very beautiful. So I'm gonna let y'all look. I'm gonna be quiet. So right here is me showing y'all the order in which I am doing this look. So if you have this palette, it'll really help you with this look if you want to recreate it. So I'm just going all the way from the yellows up to the reds. So if you haven't noticed already, the brush has changed. It has become more bigger and more fluffy and dispersed. Now you see how you can obviously tell that is red. That's why you need to use a bigger brush when you're going towards the ending for this looks, because look at me chewing. That gum ain't that good. But you want to use a bigger brush because it's already a well pigmented color. All I want to do is make a flush, or like blush. You want to do a flush of color, right? So since it's so well pigmented, you don't really need a lot. You just need a little bit, and you want to make the shape that you're trying to make. So I was trying to make like a winged, almost a winged look, eyeshadow look. So that's what you want to do. Then I'm taking that same brush that was used for the lighter colors and I'm blending in between. So a trick to do that is to take, say I did the light yellow and the dark yellow color, take your brush and mix both the light and the yellow color from the palette like a little bit, and then slowly tap into that between part to get that blend. If y'all want a full tutorial on how I do like my blending tricks, I'll let y'all know, because me just saying it is not enough. I know I'm gonna have to show y'all, so just let me know in the comments. So now I'm taking Fenty Fenty Foundation in the shade, I believe it's 440. It's the olive shade, and I'm gonna blend that into her skin. I primed her in the beginning with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. Yeah, the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. Oh my god. But yeah, so I'm taking the Real Techniques foundation blending brush and I'm just buffering all that into her skin. It makes her skin look so smooth and good. Let me tell you something. Do not have your clients coming in one shade and leaving you another shade. That girl came in brown skin. Why is she leaving light skin? No, ma'am. She need to leave the same shade she came to you in. So, maybe not. But yeah, so I'm gonna take my concealer and I'm gonna put the lighter part more into the creases and corner of her eyes, and then I'm gonna take the darker concealer, it's like 2 shades off from each other, and I'm gonna put that towards the end because you want it to blend seamlessly. It's picking up really light right here, but it's not that bad. It's brown. It's like a light shade with a more warm tone. And those are that's one of, let me see, that's MAC and that's ELF. The MAC one is NC48. No, it's NC45. But it's the brush one, and the ELF one is tan sand, the hydrating concealer. Then I take the Deep Chestnut and Rich Ebony, the dark toned concealers from ELF, and that's how I make her contour shade. You see how the contour shade, you can see it, but it's not too dark, because then that will make it drag. You don't want them to look drag. I love drag, I'm all for it, but if that's not what your client came for, do not have them leaving you looking like that. But yeah, as I was saying, somebody called me, but you want to take, that's the Morphe blending brush. It's like a bullet blending brush, and then I have my ELF contour blending brush. So it's literally shaped how you want your cheek. You want your cheek carved out and blended out like. It's like an angle brush, that's what I'm trying to say. So you want to start it. It all depends how you want to start, but normally I start blending the dark shade into the lighter shade, like the darkest shade. So I start from the edge of her cheek to the inside where her nose is. But right now, I don't know why I didn't use my normal technique. But yeah, so no, there you go. That's how I do it, just like that. Start at the edge and go into, so that you don't have a harsh line. You want to take that angle brush and blend it. You see how it's no harsh lines, so you can take the contour brush or you can take the foundation brush to blend out those really sharp lines. Okay, gotcha. So now I'm taking my Juvia's Place bronzer. This is the medium palette, and I'm taking that first shade and I'm gonna make sure I go in with that really good, and then I'm gonna take like a little few dabs of that darker shade, just so that it can really show. Like, I don't want it to be too much. Like, we don't want them to be too harsh on the face, but we do want them to be looking like crispy, just beautiful. But yeah, as I was saying, don't go too light on the concealer unless you know how to make it all look right. But for the most part, since her eyes are already really, really, really bold, I wanted her face to be prevalent, but not as much as her eyes. I didn't want her to be too much going on her face and too much going on her eyes. and then it was like it'll be like her face is too harsh. So I wanted it to be kind of on the softer side for her face base, like as you can see, because the eyes are so dramatic. Like she doesn't need too much going on because you already got a red as the eyeshadow. So you just gotta know your color schemes and how, you know, the face should be so that you don't do too much. So it takes practice. But yeah, I like to use powdered bronzer to blend the contour on the nose, because sometimes the wet concealer is too harsh and it may be harder to blend. So when using powder, you can build it as much as you like, versus concealer is already pigmented, it's already heavy. It's not going to do what you want it to do. It's not going to be as versatile as you want it. It can, but it'll still be more pigmented than just starting with a powder foundation. Then I'm taking the byeeee translucent powder, and I'm making like a nose carve because you want to clean up the edges. So that's why I did that. Then I take like a light fluffy brush and I pack it onto her eyes. This is a trick that helps you reduce creasing. You take a small fluffy brush and you pack it on to the concealer base. Then you go back in with another type of brush and you blend it in, or you can go in with not a concealer brush. You can go in with a beauty blender to pat that in or dust it off, depending on how you want to do it. And I'm also taking the Laura Mercier mixed with the Revolution banana powder. I mix that together to give me a good shade, because you see how it already made the indentation on her cheek. You don't need a lot of that stuff, so that's why I did that. You just put it on, brush it off. It looks real good. I let it sit for just a little bit and I go in with her blush. That blush looks so good. I'm taking the Juvia's Place Warriors 2 palette, and I'm gonna take the orange and the pink shade to make a beautiful blush. Look at that. You know that palette is really good for blush across all skin tones. You got your light pink, orange, and you got like a dark burgundy color. If you can just blend those together however you want for your clients, you will have a good blush palette and eyeshadow palette. Like, that palette is very versatile. So yeah. So now I'm taking the same e.l.f. angled brush and I'm just blending the powders out. I spray her face with the Morphe Luminous Setting Spray. Look at that. And here I'm taking the Beats by Deb. I think that's Miami Beach or something like that. It's like her loose highlighter. And I take the Juvia's Place loose highlighter for the nose highlight, because we love a good nose highlight.
My old lovers fall into my covers, where they sink one by one. Yeah, I watch them disappear to nothing, disposable as chewing gum.
Okay, so this is where I put the rhinestones on. I take my Duo lash glue and some rhinestones with my wax pen, and you want to create whatever you want, you know, how you want it to look. I just put a few dots everywhere, and what I do to one side, I do to the other side. And also with this same Duo lash glue, I like to put the eyelash glue on the eyelashes and on the lining of her eyelash line, like her natural eyelash line. That makes the lashes last long and they really stick real good. You don't have to keep trying and taking it off. No, it's gonna go in good just like that. Only tip I have for that is to make sure that it dries down clear before you try to put it on, because it will be wet, cold, and uncomfortable for your client, and you do not want that because it will mess up your look. So remember that. Then here I just added some pure white eyeshadow pigment. That's from J. LaRue Cosmetics, and it is the Ghost pigment. So it's pure white, and I put just a little dab in the middle to make it, like, it literally looks like a butterfly now. It's so pretty. But yeah. So for the lip combo, I used, you know, the infamous MAC chestnut pencil to line the lips. Then I went in with my Fenty, it's like a paint. It's a paint, I forgot. I'm gonna leave it in the comments, but it's like those glass bottles that she has, and that's how I did her lip combo. This is the finalized look. Let me know if you learned anything in the comments below, and if you would like me to film or do any other videos. This video didn't take me long to edit or film, so I'm happy about that. And also remember, there's no filters whatsoever on these videos or pictures that I have on this video. This is literally my work. So if you have any advice, let me know. If you want to see anything in the future, let me know. Make sure you like and comment, and also subscribe or share these videos that I make. It helps me. Until then, I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.